right, it's March 17th, 2022. I'm wearing this underneath my Arrow sweatshirt, indicative of whatever. I'm looking at my intelligence calendar that the local whatever provided. Now, there's only a few dates on here, just so church and state's aware, and they're all on the same calendar. They say there's a new moon on the 2nd with Ash Wednesday. They say there's daylight saving times begins on the 13th. Now, here's the thing. Is that like the new justice calendar? Saving time begins? Because I really don't see the humans being very good at that topic or task, especially in my life frame. So, St. Patrick's Day, though, they made the 17th on this calendar. This is the intelligence calendar that and then the 20th is the first day of spring. Now, today being St. Patty's Day, even though my feet, for Pop Secret, part of the Brady Bunch, even though I have this going on, which I'm doing some of Pop Secret work, they're all waving this flag today. So I'm just saying at Pop Secret and all, it said my intelligence community had a parade. I didn't make it. I was still working from home. I'm still in the war room, which is Linda's boudoir. I didn't want to be here, and she pulled me into this, so I decided I'd find myself a place to do whatever I need to do to help the others. There was on the same intelligence system, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, where all of the uniformed intelligence community gathers. I was able to tape it. I had access to a television platform today, so I taped it so I could go back and watch it and teach my son about Carrie and the Fighting 69, even though I say Fighting Irish, but whatever. Cosmic Nursery-wise, it's a little different. All right, and then True Crime came on. I was really torn between the two programs on the same day, but the microphone system they used, I tend to believe what they're saying they've done. So I taped it just to make note at platform 9 3/4 for Hogwarts and Harry Potter and such. Let's see.
Credit bonus guaranteed.
I've been dealing with fibroids.
Now, earlier today, I had sent Brady Bunch a message in Pop Secret that I found out about the mayor that looks like the same messenger category.
Mom, I'm sorry to bother you.
The mayor, Eric Adams. All right, so now yesterday they had Wednesday was off of the weather report. I know Wednesday Addams used to be a show at Brady Bunch. They should remember in North America, since we grew up in the same whatever envelope. So now today this messenger system's coming out, but here's the thing: the light worker John Voight in this TV producer land, like professor, like, so my learned credits stick within the same light category. He professed that usually if you're out on the street in street crime units, which I'm not, because I'm not, I'm a mom and I stay close to Pop Secret. So now, if I was, they usually inform one another, look for masks and gloves. I looked in New York City for these masks and gloves, and I found them in the hospitals for a biological crime unit. They wear them all the time. And now, during this COVID pandemic, it's really like run amok along with immigration issues. So now I'm just curious because there's a mayor who is on some informational platform and he told the entire city to shoot themselves up with bioengineered products. Again, it's a big pharma issue tied in with what Voight says to be on the lookout for. So in saving time on the calendar, I mean, that's what the Irish asked for, or the intelligent community wanted. And I don't really have anything else penciled in because nobody uses the phone for anything that I need it for. So I'm looking at this interesting thing while all of the men in blue, I'm in black and blue underneath my green. Look, I've got my emblem on. I'm wearing black and blue. I've got my green over because I don't want to be confused. Now here we are. What are they doing while you're busy getting credit for what you do during the day?
Is a paid advertisement for LifeLock by Norton, paid for by Norton LifeLock.
Protecting your identity in today's world is more important and more difficult than ever. What if someone stole your identity and once they did it, they used it to create a fake ID with their picture and your information? Then they committed a burglary.
Now keep in mind who the experts are according to their own paid advertisement.
Got caught and skipped bail. Could you be arrested for it? That's exactly what happened to this man. This is Dov. He was driving to work one day, but never made it. Instead, he was hauled off to jail for a crime he didn't commit, all because he was a victim of identity theft.
I was fingerprinted and put in a cell for hours.
I'm Tom Morris Jr., and I'm
Tom Morris Jr., investigative crime reporter. I didn't hire this guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know what agency, what network he works for, but he's a criminal, for sure, because he knows a whole lot about crime. And he's professing in some paid-for advertisement by some league somewhere, just don't know who. But in North America, this seems to be a very prevalent trend.
And I'm here to tell you that identity theft is real and it can wreak havoc in your life. There are victims.
By the way, at the same time, they are the experts on identity theft. I've seen them go by the name Washington. I've seen them use Kellogg today. They've used my name, Nick. I didn't give them permission to name their children Nick, ever. There's a whole lot of identity theft going on. Again, like surrogate being what it is, I'm just the messenger of my own Pop Secret. Since Top Secret, I think, knows these things, but it's the Pop Secret crew that's a little confused.
All over the country. People on the hook for loans they never took out, apartments they never rented, and yes, crimes they didn't commit.
Oh, that seems familiar. I was in love on a beach at one point with something over 6 foot, and I was a nice lanky size myself. I have no idea how I got to some kind of microwaved popcorn size with a Pop Secret bag.
And if it hasn't happened to you yet, it could be just a matter of time. In the next half hour.
Now, do we consider those valid threats? I'm just curious because it's on New York. I'm in this. I've got a White House that was broken into by his Aladdin or non-Polish Lion King looking fellowship. And it seems to be a real concern in North America.
Half hour or so, you're going to learn how identity theft happens and what the thieves can do with your information. You're going to hear from real people just like you.
Now, these are their rules. because I was not brought in on this conversation. I haven't given out rules. I didn't say that they could have electronic equipment. In fact, I'm pretty sure at weapons of mass destruction and in the prior wars, being the Afghan and Iraqi war, they were looking for weapons of mass destruction. No idea if they actually ever found any. But the computer and electronics is the first key.
Who have been victimized. But more importantly, you're going to hear how they took steps to protect themselves and how you can take those.
I really don't find anyone in North America being educated properly on how to protect themselves. Especially when not this gentleman, but the criminals are talking to basketball coaches that look like that, like sugar daddies, and trying to convince them just how innocent they are.
Same steps to help protect yourself and your family. Look, no matter what you've done so far, the harsh reality is your information could already be out there. That's why this is a critical moment for us all to take action. Because let's be really clear, the criminals are smart. You have to be smarter. LifeLock can help.
Welcome to LifeLock, a leader in identity theft protection. LifeLock helps protect you by scanning for potential threats to you.
So now they want to sell you a service to teach you just how they've already committed crimes that are affecting you in ways as a human you have no idea, because it's top secret.
To your identity, alerting you if something is found. And if you're a victim, helping you to fix the problem. Anyone can be a victim of identity theft. So please, take a moment.
I call my identity theft, not only did they take our names as surnames and take our specialness at the Fighting Irish and top secret. Since I'm in New York, they go with Fighting 69 for one congruence back to top secret, since I've got this flag and I've got a White House that's been broken into, and I've got an Irish President Joseph Biden, but he's got some vice president issues. And then past administration issues, some campaign promises that I don't know what sports arena was paying for or dished out to all the criminals everywhere to get New York this dirty. It's really confusing. But again, just keeping on. I know I was taken out of a time in space, deep space, where I was happy and I had somebody who loved me very much and he was over 6 foot. This version, I have no idea what humans have done. I mean, I'm watching through a porthole, but they never seem to fess up. I mean, they do on paid advertisement, but...
And consider, if you discovered a criminal had filed fake tax returns or committed...
They keep breaking the bank and breaking the piggy bank and then making more mess.
Committed a crime in your name or stole from your 401k, are you absolutely sure you want to handle the situation alone? Get the protection you need.
No, I don't. But the man I was stolen from, the humans won't let me, or somehow are in the way of me and he and being happily ever after. They keep throwing in more crap to deal with. But again, on the intelligence level of my... I mean, so what, you put set dates on this stupid thing, which is called a planner, but you don't actually give me tasks to plan with? That doesn't seem fair in light working, especially being stuck in a dark art area.
Need with LifeLock.
Our first story is about a woman who had her identity stolen twice. Once before she had LifeLock, and once after. As she told us, those were very, very different stories.
So I got a letter in the mail, and it was a rejection notice from a credit card application.
This is Jasmine.
It's just one of their examples. Normally whatever.
She thought that letter was junk mail and ignored it. She had no idea it was about to take her on a roller coaster ride through the frightening world of identity theft.
So a few months after I get this notice,
Does my intelligence community, do they get this level of stuff? Because, like, I noticed they're not alone either. It's not just light workers that work in this city of New York blue uniform thing. That's why I'm wearing black and blue with green on top.
and it's my clothing apparel credit card bill, and it said I charged up, I think upwards of about $3,000 to $5,000. And I know it wasn't me because I don't make that much of a purchase, and they weren't my sizes either.
And then I'm thinking, Houston, we might have a problem because you sent me a photo once. I mean, then they mentioned something about a camera and then it goes on all the time. I have no idea. I don't know how that works.
Either.
And then she got a call from a car dealership. Someone was trying to buy a car using her name.
And I said, I absolutely do not want this car. I did not apply to purchase this car.
The first time Jasmine went through this, she didn't have LifeLock. She said that was extremely difficult.
I've interviewed a lot of victims of crime in my career, and
Really, that's interesting. I haven't really interviewed one. Talk
one
about
thing
stolen
there's
opportunity.
a common emotion is this sense of fear because the crime is not resolved. And initially, did you
That's in my area. That's den napping. The intelligence has been withheld, and so they seem to be sleeping zombies because they don't know where to look. Who they know their victims because they can see things changing. They just don't know what's going on at the great beyond that's forcing these whatever upon them at big game. So with no resolution in baby formula, and no, we already solved the formula. Why is this part breaking now? Was it not implemented properly? So now, let's go back to
feel
telling on themselves.
sort of a sense of fear?
It was very scary. It was scary. It was stressful.
It took a long time, but Jasmine cleared up the problem. Right after that, she signed up for LifeLock. And it's a good thing, because then it happened to her again. Someone actually purchased a $50,000 car using her name.
So $50,000, that was so hard to process because at the time we were saving up to send my daughter to school. $50,000, people win that in lotteries. I can't pay $50,000 for a car that I didn't purchase.
Lotteries. Like, what kind of lotteries?
Jasmine said the difference of going through this without LifeLock the first time and with LifeLock the second was enormous.
With the LifeLock restoration agent, she was my advocate. She told me
Does this happen in some parallel paradox? I'm just curious, because I really want to go back to over 6 foot, me thinner, back into my normal uniform, and not this genetic that's been beaten up by physics and den napping while the kidnapping crew wipes memories and makes people live as if this is normal and average. This size SUV, I don't know if it fits in a mid-size SUV helicopter arrangement. I'm not quite sure.
To the beginning, what exactly is identity theft and how does it work? Joining me now is Jim Stickley, a cybersecurity expert.
Whoa! Okay, so now here's like some tricky footwork. Jim Stickley and the cybersecurity shifting the blame from the criminal himself, now professing it over here. Oh my goodness. Look at us. And now what happens?
Jim, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Now, Jim,
He's the crime investigator, but he seems to have a lot of information. He knows how to ask the questions.
Jim, tell me a little bit about what identity theft really is.
Sure. I mean, the simplest way to think of it is you got your name, your social security number, your
And he's the poor guy who got an education, like one, and now he feels like he has to answer the questions because the guy asking the questions is the crime and investigative reporter. Meanwhile, den napping gets so much worse into like this large abyss, and the seams, the sky just opens up and just rips apart.
your home address, your driver's license, all the things that make you who you are. If a criminal can gain access to all that information, they can use that to become you. And then they can go out and open up loans.
Does this sound paranoid? Because, I mean, there's some of the criminals that don gloves and masks and work in hospitals and put on white coats and call themselves psychologists. They say that this is paranoia. Is it really now? What messenger told you that? Are they light workers? Right. Are they friends with the dark arts? I'm just curious, because I've seen a lot of lying in my day, but like the New York City crew, they're a disgusting bunch.
They can get credit cards. They can do all the purchases that you would normally do.
They take your words in all sincerity, and then they make this guy look crazy. They make this guy look like he needs drugs. They make this guy look like he needs hospitalization in a state hospital, because the actual criminal's mad that his crew is going to state penitentiary and going behind bars for all sorts of other stuff that they've hijacked.
Only they're not going to pay the bill, you will.
Now, Jim, one-way thieves can get my personal information.
Sports arena, really? That sounds like rackets and racketeering. Doesn't look like the guy that you keep trying to medicate and send to psychological prison.
Information is by hacking into my home computer, right?
Absolutely.
Show me how they do it.
Now, you got a friend named Phil, which I found online. And so I've sent you...
And my level of criminal, not that I'm part of this network, but what they've done here at some point with the Obama break-in of national security is they actually performed a spinal tap from radiological standards at Cyborgs and Cybernet. That's how frightening humans have gotten to. And I have nowhere to report it. Because who do I report it to? I'd love to report it to Top Secret, except I'm working a bag of microwavable popcorn and I look about the same size. And that seems to just be non-important because they're so busy protecting, like, I don't know, superstars and movie stars and rock stars and their awards and their feelings. It is a disgusting world I was delivered to. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. So while you were out at St. Patty's Day Parade, if you made it there, luckily, I was working the war room back at the office, or I'm off of ice at the moment, and watching for signs of intelligent movement.